Their rooms depict Jannat or heaven.
That somebody has terrorism act, somebody is for big terrorism act, somebody is for biggest terrorism act.
A vision of the afterlife that these young kids are told lies in store for them after they blow themselves up.
You can see the milk is coming out, and there's a beautiful mountains, and whatever the people who will die, who will do the act of suicide and whatever else who will die, they will be going like this. The pictures of women in this, that they are beautiful women there, and you're gonna get, and this is all what you can see.
So this is for the concept of the 72 virgins that they may get after they go to heaven, isn't it?
Yes, this is what the image they wanted to falsely portray.
The Taliban brought boys as young as 13 and 14 to this center. Morphine and other drugs were used to send them off on their final journey.
So this is written in blood, is it?
Yes, this is written in blood. They have been...
Before taking off for the suicide mission, each of these children would write his name on the wall. The ink, his own blood. Inside the compound, another horrifying sight.
So what this is the place where these terrorists are used to bring the innocent people. And
the killing pit of the Taliban. Here they chopped off the heads of the enemy, the infidels, and the munafiqs or hypocrites, who were people they considered false Muslims.
You see, this blood is not a finger blood. It has been marked with some brush. So a large quantity of blood, and this all...
On the walls, the killers wrote, with the spilled blood of the infidels. Here it says, this is what they deserve. Makeen is cleared, but its residents cannot yet return. The area remains a war zone.
It shows, you know, they're like people left in a hurry. Because if you see, everything's still spread around, slippers and mats, even pillows. But people left as the Pakistani army gave them very short notice to exit the city to make sure that they're safe.
Hundreds of thousands of people have fled the border areas and taken refuge in towns and refugee centers. It's become a huge problem for Pakistan. We go in search of the families who fled the village of Makeen. They belong to the Pashtun tribal group called Masood. After flying for an hour and a half, we've landed here in Dera Ghazi Khan. What we are here for is to meet the internally displaced people or the refugees. They're not far from here, approximately a few kilometers from here. They've set up tents to distribute aid to them. We drive with heavily armed guards through the streets of Dera Ismail Khan. This town is located over 250 miles from Makeen. Our destination is a stadium where government aid is being distributed to the people of the Masood tribe. Nearly 300,000 Masoods have escaped the fighting in South Waziristan. It is their extremist brethren who form the core of the Tehreek-e-Taliban, now led by this man, Hakimullah Masood, who replaced Baitullah Masood after he was killed. Like most of the tribes in this region, the Masoods have close ties to tribes in Afghanistan, but people at this stadium have no role in the fighting. Still, they are carefully frisked as they enter the site. This is a prime target for Masood terrorists, who would punish their own tribesmen for accepting government help. Masood tribesmen and children who come here receive supplies meant to last for a month. Women are not allowed, as the tribe does not permit them to come and collect aid. But one or two still slip in. They have no one left in their family to come collect for them. Many Pashtuns who resent the military's presence in their land let their sympathy for the Taliban show. This group includes Gul Bahadur Masood, a Pashtun, but a former Pakistan military soldier, who says his former employer should stay away from his territory.
The Pakistan Army has come here now, just like the British Army did once upon a time. This army should do what the British did then, stay in their camps and leave us alone.
America is very unpopular among the people here. If Gul Bahadur's attitude is a good indication of the Pashtun stance, the winning of hearts and minds will not be an easy task.
America has come here and messed things up. What do they want here? Brother, leave us to defend our own land. I am 75 years old, and I swear to God I can still hit a target.
Is it possible to convince villagers that the Taliban is the enemy? We traveled to the valley of Swat to find out. This area was taken by the Taliban in 2007. They held it until the Pakistani army cleared Swat in July 2009. The hustle on the street is back, but houses are riddled with bullet holes, a reminder of what the area has seen. But the Taliban did not shoot their way to power. Their talk about the Quran and Islamic law captured the attention and support of the locals. But once in power, the Taliban turned to violence. They targeted this girls' school. Village head Saifullah remembers the night. The Taliban smuggled in an explosive device, destroying the classrooms, the courtyard, the library, where 200 girls had studied.
They're against girls' education, but they're also against the education of boys. They preach, take up arms, and fight against Pakistan, instead of staying in school and studying.
The cleanup of the place has now begun. The villagers hope to have the school up and running in a few months.
You will not give anything to our son in any...
Malala Yousafzai, a 12-year-old, is a victim of the regressive policies of the Taliban.
The Taliban came in 2007 and they used to give sermons on the FM radio. And they usually talked about the girls that they must not go to school and education is not important for girls.
Malala was frightened, but she risked her life to keep learning.
We used to hide our books under our shawls and we used to go to school in our home dresses instead of school uniform.
The consequences if she were found by the Taliban were grim.
I was thinking that if the Taliban caught me, so they can throw acid on my face and they can kidnap me and they can do anything because they have slaughtered many people in the squares and hanged them upside down.
The village head of Totano Bandai now travels with 2 Kalashnikovs by his side. He introduces me to his village defense committee. The defense committee was formed once Taliban brutality began to turn people against them. They say the terrorists will never be able to return. The villagers and the military have now destroyed every home owned by families who had helped prop up the rule of the Taliban in the area, sending a clear message: please do not return. The Pakistani army points to Swat as a success story, saying a combination of negotiation, patience, and military action paid off.
I've heard it being called...
General Tariq Khan of the Frontier Constabulary is in charge of the tribal areas. He's a Pashtun who hails from the tribal region.
There was no public support for military operations. And we had to go down a road of negotiations, compromises, deals, which weren't very good. And it was necessary to do so that peace was given a chance.
But the problem of the Taliban has spread. There have been dozens of suicide bombings in Pakistan's major cities over the past 2 years. In Rawalpindi,